Andrews at State Parliament this evening. Tom, the Premier has defiantly declared she's sticking around.
That's right, Alicia. Good evening. The Premier is very much digging in here, and it'll all come to a head at a party room meeting tomorrow morning. That is the all-important time frame. Despite Ben Carroll for so long swearing black and blue that he did support Jacinta Allan, that he did not want her job. Well, a lot has changed. He says the time is now. State political reporter Heidi Murphy begins our coverage.
The Deputy Premier on his way to tell Jacinta Allan he wants her job. Ben Carroll, one of a number of ministers arriving with the message for the Premier, her time is up, despite repeated assurances.
I have said I've got the job I want. I have said I've got the job I want.
A delegation of 6 ministers, nearly a third of Jacinta Allan's cabinet, fronting up to ask her to step down. She's refused and asked them to resign from her team. They said no as well.
You can't knife your leader behind the scenes and then vote for her.
The ministers later whisked away without offering any comment.
Williams, is this the end for Jacinta Allan as Premier? Luba, do you know who you'll vote for?
The Premier upping the ante herself, writing to the ALP State Secretary, asking the party to prepare to conduct an election for the leadership of the parliamentary party, saying she intends to be a candidate, setting the scene for a month-long saga as rank-and-file members get a say, even while some of her own backbenchers shy away from endorsing her. Do you still back Jacinta Allan?
Well, I'm focusing on door knocking in my electorates and do everything I can to serve my community.
That's not a yes though. One who was very emphatic just weeks ago about her being the best leader,
Absolutely.
now striking a different tone.
I think it's a matter for caucus and we'll be meeting tomorrow.
One rare loyalist fronting up, got confidence in the
100%.
Is she going to survive today?
Oh, she's a fantastic leader.
But crucially, her own deputy has had a change of heart. 6 weeks ago, Ben Carroll vehemently ruled out a coup.
I've got a young daughter at home, and I'm going to be more proud to make sure she grows up knowing that I supported Jacinta Allan to be a world-class Premier and get re-elected in her own right.
He now says the decision is not easy, but the stakes of the upcoming election are simply too high, telling the Premier he will be a candidate for leadership. Liberals immediately seizing on that backflip.
When the cost of living kept rising, he stood by her. When crime got worse, he stood by her.
Victoria is seeing a government that is blowing up, not showing up for them and fixing their problems.
The last Premier forced out by his own party infighting, the Liberals' Ted Baillieu with some advice for the incumbent.
I can speak from some experience. The first responsibility is to the people of Victoria.
And Heidi Murphy joins us now from the Labor Party room. Heidi, it could be a pretty drawn out and convoluted process. How specifically does it work tomorrow?
Well, Tom, at 10 o'clock, Labor MPs will be gathered behind these doors. A spill motion will be put to them. It will need 35 votes minimum to get across the line. Those backing this push believe they easily have those numbers. If they do, the ball is firmly back in Jacinta Allan's court. She's obviously said today she'll be a candidate. Ben Carroll has said he will be a candidate. If they both hold true to that, it will mean it's a contested leadership spot, and that has to go outside this room. It has to go to rank and file party members to have a say. During that process, both the Premier and the Deputy Premier would have to step aside from their roles, so an acting Premier would be going in. Tom, we're talking weeks of possible disruption. 4 months out from an election, both sides very much hoping tonight that the other backs down to avoid all this mess.
Yeah, what a mess it would be. Exactly, Heidi. Thank you. Well, from a united force under Daniel Andrews to this broken mess of factions fighting for power, Labor voters could be wondering where it all went wrong tonight. Mark Santamartino examines Jacinta Allan's tumultuous time as Premier.
Anointed by Daniel Andrews, but never elected to be his successor.
When it's time, it's time.
Jacinta Allan was all but gifted the job as Victoria's Premier in 2023, making history as the second woman to ever hold the office.
I'm Jacinta Marie Owens, serving by the Mighty God for the Premier for the State of Victoria.
Ben Carroll challenged, but ultimately stood aside that day. Daniel Andrews had taken the heat for cancelling the Commonwealth Games, but as his deputy, Ms Allen never started with a clean slate. Victoria's crime rate spiked, and Ms Allen's machete bins were ridiculed.
$325,000 a pop, you could buy a Ferrari with that.
Labor had to admit its weakened bail laws weren't working, but the Premier never apologised for that, like she did through tears after her husband Yorick was caught drink driving.
We're shocked, deeply embarrassed as well.
She changed laws to keep the Frankston serial killer behind bars for life and scuttled plans for a second injecting room in the city. Her flagship idea to give Victorians the right to work from home twice a week.
My Labor government will make working from home a right. Not a request, a right.
New housing builds slumped to decade lows. The Premier made moves to encourage more apartments, but ultimately, another big build started to bite.
Let me give you what the takeaway is. It could be 30 billion.
Jacinta Allen beamed as she opened the Westgate Tunnel and rode the first train through the Metro Tunnel, but stumbled when cornered by questions of CFMEU corruption.
Why did it take you a year to respond?
What have you got that shows that they were put to me in writing?
I have letters.
As the evidence mounted, so too did the pressure. Police made arrests, but Ms Allen has repeatedly refused a royal commission. The strain of unrelenting questions started to show.
For this press conference to continue, I ask that you retract that last observation.
And her support plummeted, prompting the man who once stood aside to step up against her. And Mark Santamartino is with me now. Look, Ben Carroll might want to be Premier. He's still Education Minister for the time being. That job certainly has its own headaches because teachers are going on strike again. On the 4th of August, that's Tuesday next week, Tom, we understand teachers are planning further industrial action. Now, it won't be as large as the strike we saw last week or the one a few months ago. That's because this comes from a smaller faction of the Australian Education Union.
That's all.